Howdy, all you delicious people. I'm here today to do Zombieverse New Blood, Episode 7, Season Finale. Normally I think when people would probably go on and do a season finale, they would probably recap the season to you. I'm not going to do that. Like, there's so many videos of which they've already done of this season that, like, just watch any of those. Just, like, don't go into this last video expecting that, because if anything, you'll just be disappointed like I was disappointed in this season finale. So, but I'm going to go on and I'll compare season 1 to season 2. And I think my first question for this second season is, where did the money go? Like, also, man, like, it really felt so much so that this season 2 was to really break the fourth wall of like, well, yeah, like all this shit is just carefully planned out. Whereas in the first season, like, I was to go on and feel that all of this could have been like lesser orchestrated, that it kind of felt more natural. Like, we obviously have where Din Din like turns to the people of like, yeah, like all you guys have a broken leg and all you people are hurt now, and it seems like you guys all planned to this. Like, I would go on and I would look at that and be like, well, yeah, look at the whole season. So much of it feels like it was so rigorously planned out that, like, it just comes off as just this corny, lesser quality, just cheap, um, thing that people eventually, mistakenly got to see, because they didn't know any better, because they thought that they were getting something similar to season 1, and then they came to this thing, they're like, well, like, got nothing better else to check out. Well, I guess we'll just see what this is to entail. So, I have to go on here and possibly state that I think my favorite characters were probably Defcon and Young, uh, to equally have male and female characters. But I also was kind of like, and I don't know if I should say this, but like, I think it's like the elephant of the season also. Like, I'll just say this. The first season, like, we just had like a certain, just like, everybody was to kind of look the same. And I was like, okay, I've seen other Korean shows, and like, we would go on to just have that kind of look about them. Um, but in the second season, it seems that they were going on and trying to put together more of like a melting pot kind of season of characters. But if you look at what happened to all of those certain melting pot characters, yeah, it's like, wow, like, okay, like, I don't know what to kind of take away from that. But at least they tried it. At least they tried to introduce these characters. At least they were to go on and take a chance uh, to try to appeal to more people in the season. So I can just take away from that and nothing else. That might offend somebody. Like, dude, this is the last season of the show. Like, if anything, also, like, based on how well the last video did of this, like, yeah, I don't know if anybody's gonna really want to go on and check this one out either. So, like, I'm just like, hey, uh I'm just trying to go on and doing a piece of content. So I apologize. Plus, also, it's just like, man, like, I was hoping, because YouTube was kind of telling me to check this out, And I was hoping that it's like, okay, maybe like for how well my channel is doing, like maybe going into this will make it even better. No, it made it either the same or worse. So it's like, okay, great. Like, great, of course. Yeah. Like, so what was the point of this? What was the point of going into this season specifically? Um, like I'm maybe maybe I'm tempted to just rewatch the entire first season and go through each individual episodes of the first season to see if that goes on and does anything hugely different. Because I just reviewed the whole first season and look at Power Rangers. Like I've gone on and reviewed that in a number of different ways. Um, but anyways, but it would just kind of feel redundant. Anyways, so let's talk about this last episode. Uh, so my favorite characters were Defcon and Young, the regulars of the show. But I did go on and I did enjoy Chef and I did enjoy Justin, even though I also liked Hong Chul. And all those characters, all the last three characters I mentioned weren't in the show enough. Uh, even though they were even teasing that Hong Chul was going to be in the show, but it's like, but wait for it. We had to earn Hong Chul. Like they were telling us he was going to be in the show. This is the stupidest thing. They gave away so much in that very first episode that it kind of ruined the season for me. That was the stupidest thing, that promo package. But again, this show just needed to really stretch shit out. And that's what made it all the worse for it. Um, was just being like, okay, like when are we gonna get to these things that I found in that opening package of the first episode? When are we gonna get to that? Because those are the only things that I really give a about, because that's all they care about. Obviously, for the show is like, oh hey, yeah, look at this image, look at this thing, look at them in the subway. Just wait till a number of episodes where you're just gonna be like, huh, about that, because you waited for so long. So for this last episode, what ends up happening in it? So we had this to be a cliffhanger of the last episode because, of course, we do. Everything has to be stretched out here. So our characters are in peril, people are getting infected, and a big, huge, massive zombie is to be in play, and the characters have to go on, and they have to figure out a way to tie him up. And once they go on and they tie up this one big massive zombie, it seems that all the other zombies just disappear weirdly. And that made no sense. We also go on and have them not collect all of the blood samples. They only find two, it seems. So they collect the blood samples. They make their way back to the other group that is getting annihilated by Andre, the chef, and because he's chopping them up, he's making mincemeat of them. He's pounding them in. Whatever other kind of cooking analogy could I make here? So yeah, so that means people are gonna get infected, and like I would have hoped to have said killed, but no, it's like we have to really just say that the whole kill thing is kind of loose here, because people are to try to play dead, but then again, like they're getting trampled on. They're really getting trampled on. Also, uh, like, did Chef fall asleep? I'm so curious. Anyways, so they figure out how to escape uh the chef quest, and eventually now it takes them to the rooftop. The rooftop. Instead of the exit door, we go to the rooftop. That's stupid. So the rooftop leads them into one area and one area only, which is to be this bridge, which leads them to nowhere. Yeah, because they're on a freaking rooftop. Of course it's going to lead them nowhere. Jesus Christ. Like, does 2 plus 2 equal 4? They're on a roof. Like, where, like, how is this going to go on and have them get an easy access of escape? But then also, we, after that, even have the further problem of even when they do go on and they conquer the whole bridge thing, there's still zombies outside of on the roof. How did they escape all of that? How do they escape all that and then just have all the time in the world to make their way down to the people who they had lost, that had fallen off the bridge? Because there's quite a bit of that going on. Because we really just have this like season recapping of thing of like, well, hey, like, remember all these people? They all have to get killed, or are they zombies? Are they not a zombie? There's no makeup being done, so you're not really sure. You just have these people that are to kind of act like a-holes, and it's like, okay, well, so all the decisions that they take way too much time to make in the beginning of this episode ends up being wasted in the other half of it, and then we go on to find something unique about one of the characters that ended up just getting killed anyways, and then off to the races they go. And then we have this credit scene before the credit scene. Like, this last episode was like 49 minutes. And it was like, you could have just lumped that into the last episode, and you could have just had 6 episodes. Uh, yeah, like, some of these episodes honestly were like 50 some odd minutes long. So you could have gone on and taken the 49 minutes and fused it into the 6th episode, and you really could have gone on and chucked any number of any other thing. You could have gone on and edited this better and only had 6 episodes instead of 7. And I say that whole hamburger thing with chef cooking and them eating, like, why was it even in the episode? Like, why did we have to take that time? Like, if anything, there are sometimes really reflect back on that, but still, it's like, there's even points where, like, chef, like, there's a one thing where he would go on, and I know I'm not wanting to recap the season, but I'll say this. Like, here's where we can go on and we can really see them editing for time, even when they would loop dialogue. Uh, we'd have the one time where, like, chef is going on and he's doing this pointing thing, where he's like, wait a minute, and they would go on and they would cut back to that, and he would do that again. So I'm like, so what is this, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where, like, they're going on and they're like reversing footage to make it look different, whereas like the Megazord falls over and then all of a sudden it like weirdly gets back up because it's a reverse shot, and they just don't have enough footage to use. So that is just so stupid. Like, you're reusing the same fight sequences over and over again. Like, man, this show is really cheesing it, and they really cheapened out in the second season. Maybe there was stuff like that going on in the first season, but I would have to go on and really rewatch the first season again to maybe see where they cut corners or where they really stretch things out. But in the first season, it felt like every other episode was just kind of like the second episode or the fourth episode or whatever. Like, they were kind of cool down episodes. And so it's like, so, like, in the first season, I would probably go on and say, like, it's probably better off to watch like every other episode. Whereas this second season, like I think that there maybe is like maybe 3 episodes to maybe watch. And even that, like, well, like let's count it out. So one is a good episode. Then uh half of half of 3 and episode 4 is pretty good. Uh 5 and 6 for uh, 5 and 6 are worth watching. And then this is just like don't even waste your time. Like you can go onto this like twice the speed or something and just kind of get the cliff notes of what this show is or what this last episode is. It's kind of like a victory lap. Like really it's just like hey, if you have nothing better to do, then watch this last episode. So with that said, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna just break this episode down, even though I why um like I already did. Man, this review could have been a lot shorter. But anyways, so with that said, because I'm still gonna go on and do the same amount of effort that I would go on and do in any other of one of these reviews. So that said, it's about that time to go into spoiler time. It's spoiler time, spoiler time. It's about that time to get spoiled this episode. Let me know in the comments below what is be your favorite episode of this season or in Zombieverse in general. Because maybe you liked, if you liked the first season, let me know in the comments below. If you were to go on and to hate this second season, let me know in the comments below. Because I really didn't care for this season at some point. Even though I liked some of the characters, I just didn't care for the show. Um, like I would have liked to have gone on, and I would like for there to be another season, but this kind of tells me that they just don't have any money anymore to do this show. So it's like, okay, well, like, well, I guess we're never gonna see anything out of this anymore. So that's fine. Um, plus, also, it really just doesn't seem that a lot of shows uh end up going for a second season. There's so many one-off things. Because I think Netflix goes on and like, oh yeah, this seems like a good idea. This seems worthwhile to throw money to. But then when there's a second season come up, it's like, well, like you guys number wise just didn't do as good as numbers as so and so. So it's like, well, like you guys didn't come to be like our new Squid Game or a thing that was our flagship show that did so amazingly well. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, so you're just gonna go on and if you do a second season, like you're definitely not gonna have the money. Nowhere the money is the first. Um, but anyways, let's go on and let's pause this here. Whip out my cast list and details and whatever. Even though I won't really go into the cast list, I'll just thumb through uh what happened in the episode and just kind of recount it to you. So this season finale freaking sucked. And was a waste of my time. Um, but if anything, ultimately, YouTube was to have told me to review the show basically, because Zombieverse was to have popped up as a popular thing. So I was like, okay, well, how could I get more juice out of this? And then I found out, oh, there was a second season. So yeah, that was my plan. Um, I'm really tempted to try and do this over again, um, but I won't, because I've already tried this so many times anyways. So I'm not gonna do it. This is fine. This is just gonna end up being fine, because more likely, who knows how well it's gonna turn out to be anyways. So this is fine. So it's almost tempted to just start all over again, because also I have no idea what I've already said already. So yeah, like I want to go on and really do projects that I'm much more happy about, uh, because this definitely wasn't it. So as soon as this over, hopefully I can go on and do something that is a little bit more meaningful for me to put on the channel. Because this wasn't. So yeah, like, because there's quite a bit of projects where I'm looking into them because YouTube will tell me to, not because I want to do them. Um, so that is kind of frustrating. It really is. Uh, that I'm not doing something because I really want to. I feel that I'm doing it because I have to. That I have to. That it's like, well, like, I feel that that'll be the betterment for the channel. And honestly, doing this was not for the betterment of the channel. It didn't help me. It honestly made things worse or not or the same. So maybe every other project that I'm going to go on and do in the future will probably do the exact same thing. So, anyways, let's pause this here. Let's get on my stuff, and we'll break this all down. All right, spoilers. So, from last we left off in the former episode, we had found that Sungjae, as well as also DEFCON, had gotten infected via the room of which that had the gymnastics equipment and the massively tall zombie that was doing wrestling moves on people. So Sanjay ends up getting flung off the zombie, and so now we have Kwan, the singer girl, who, cause that's all she's known to me as, the singer girl. Yeah, if I could have just gone on and just said that. So she goes on and she jumps onto the zombie, and so she's telling the guys to, like, hey, tie this zombie up. So they go on and they tie the pink rope onto one of the zombies and then the blue onto the other. And for the way that Kwan did wrap her leg around that rope there, like, something about me feels like this person was trained in this, and it wasn't just something that she just went on and knew what to do. Uh, that would be quite interesting to, like, yeah, like, because I would go on to have seen Markiplier do rope videos. Maybe it's just a weird coincidence that this girl was like, oh yeah, in my free time I'd gone on to learn all this gymnastic stuff. So she's not just a track star. But anyways, I thought it was just kind of weird how she locked her leg like that and then was swinging. I'm like, like, did they probably get trained on how to use all this shit before actually doing this stuff? So that's how so planned this show was. So the zombies roped up, so now we cut back to Andre, just ramming through these walls. I'm like, Hopefully, Chef didn't get hurt doing the show. It didn't seem like it when eventually we see him by the end of the episode. But I was kind of worried that he probably got hurt doing any of this show. So we have the chef, and so like the chef is so strong that he is dragging this big, huge, massive wheel behind him. Like that's how strong this chef is. This Andre guy is, and I was like, wow, that is freaking impressive because I would go on and see like guys who were to train and they would like flip these huge massive tires, but this guy is dragging one behind him. And I'm like, well, like yeah, maybe you would go on and see people like do sleds and stuff like that and like yeah, like maybe like a tire being dragged, like maybe that's not a really hard difficult feat, but in my mind I was thinking it was. So from the last episode, I was going on and thinking that maybe they were going to do something with roping the chef up, and that's how they were going to take him out. But it seems that that wasn't going to be the actual case. The case was to really just tire Andre out by people just continuously running around. And then eventually we'd come to find that Young is to come up with a strategy with finding a very weak wall, which is like, well, yeah, that makes quite a bit of sense because I'm sure this area is not going to have a really durable amount of walls. So yeah, like plus also I'm sure this shit is cheap anyways. So cuz season and so I kind of assumed if there was any way to escape it'd be from a cheap wall. So but anyways, Chef goes on and he is to bash his way through these mannequins and getting to these people. At one point, there is the group that is going on and trying to convince Andre of who he is and who they are. I'm sorry, like, you basically left this guy for fucking dead. Why should he go on and help you at all? Plus also, yeah, like, one, you left him dead. Two, like at least you guys did care that he did get rescued. But again, that was all on him. Uh, like at least like you guys never went back for him. You guys never even talked about him until he showed up here and like, oh yeah, chef, oh yeah, like that's the whole thing. Like man, all these characters would go on and do the heavy lifting in this show, like DefCon, Justin, and Chef, like they would go on and be characters that would go on and do quite a bit of heavy lifting in the show, as well as also maybe like Dex, or Sung Jae, and like what ends up happening with most of those characters killed, except for maybe of course Dex, who's like, well, of course he's to win this show, anyways. So they can convince Andre to remember who he is and who they are. And so he keeps on bashing through these walls. So we have at one point where the conductor goes on and asks the people, hey, if you sing, I might let you free. So, or sing or dance. One of the like, at first he goes on and he says, hey, do you guys all know a tune? Like, do you guys all know a certain song together that you can all sing? And so there's a kind of a pause going on, and the conductor ends up asking if these people can dance. At first, he ends up asking Young if she can dance, and then she doesn't. But Joe comes in and he decides like, well, hey, I'll dance for you. I'll do it. I'll dance. So he goes on and he starts dancing. And actually, Joe can cut a pretty mean rug. That's not to be sarcastic. Like, no, like this guy can really dance. Like, I'm not mocking him. I'm not making a joke out of this. The guy can dance. So cool. Um, then we start to see the girl in the red shirt. I have no idea who she is. I have no idea. Like, is that no idea. Um, Taeyeon? Sure. I see a picture of her and she has pink hair. You couldn't have gone on and had the pink hair in the show. That would have made that character stand out a lot more. Plus, also, I probably would have gone on and said, "Hey, yeah, the pink hair girl." That's probably what I would have gone on and called her the pink hair girl, because she still probably wouldn't have stood out to me. Plus, also, it's not like I'm really knowing these characters' names so easily, because they're not said anywhere in the show, um, or when they are said, it's probably because they're going to die. So it's kind of pointless to get to know who any of these people are. Um, like they do go on and they introduce it in the very early like season one episode, uh, or season one episode, uh, first episode of this second season is what I meant to say. But yeah, goes in one ear out the other because I'm not really good with names. I'm better with faces. So, anyways, because I'm a very visual person. Anyways, so as the characters continue to just dance around, uh, eventually Andre just bashes through them, and Joe is like, "Hey man, like I thought you were gonna go on and set us free if we dance." So yeah, like the conductor just wants you to basically dance monkey dance, so that way he gets amusement. He's never gonna let you go. If anything, he's letting you dance so that way Andre can go on and tackle you. And yeah, that's what inevitably ends up happening. So at one point, when Andre is just barreling through people, eventually he focuses on Taya or Taya Yon or whoever this one girl that I just mentioned with the pink hair was. So Joe goes in and he swoops in and tries to protect the girl, hoping that maybe his body will be a shield for her. And so Andre goes on and he takes Joe and he like lifts him up. And I'm hoping Joe didn't get injured here. Because honestly, with what Andre kind of does with Joe, like it feels like he could have gotten injured somehow. Um, so Andre ends up infecting Joe, ends up nibbling into him, giving him a good old biting, and then we have to go on and recount the crapping episode, where Joe is to get crap on his face, and need to go to the other toilet to get the toilet paper. Just yeah, let's continue to bring that up. Like, I'm sorry, that is like this sore spot in this entire season, and you guys like how many times can we bring that up? Plus, like going on of like yeah, like this guy got shit on his face, and now he's going on and getting killed here. Man, like what a great way to just send this guy off. So, and he even mentioned like, yeah, Joe endured so stubbornly, even with poop on his face. Yeah, you have to bring that up, and the shit. Like really. Anyways, so, but here's the thing. So Joe is supposed to be infected and then dead, but people keep running around him. Joe, I think, should be worried that he's going to get injured here while being supposedly a corpse, while being dead. So it just kind of gets to the point where now Joe, instead of playing this dead person, is now playing an infected person that is still kind of on the field. So even the people that are infected, like, I guess we just have to have a really long time before they become a zombie. And it seems with when they have to make a decision of who to save, these people have all the time in the effing world. But Joe even goes on and consistently says, like, oh yeah, he's starting to feel the zombie in him. He's got that zombie in him. Uh, so yeah, so and then everybody starts going on and mentioning how it's like, hey man, like, move out of the way. You're gonna get hurt here. And Joe is like, what the fuck? Like, what are you expecting? I'm supposed to be dead. So they go on and they notice that they can go on and they can have this uh this cloth. So the black cloth that was kind of revealing all the mannequins. They're deciding, like, well, hey, since we can't go on and put a tire over Andre's head and have that solve this problem, they go on and they take the cloth, hoping that the cloth will solve all their problems. Then maybe all they need to do is to put Andre back into this cloth again, and then maybe he'll go on and not be able to. Because they can't think of anything else, even though they have that huge long rope of thing that they could have tied Andre up on. But if anything, it's freaking Andre. He probably would have, like, I'm surprised he didn't even break from that rope thing, that leash thing that he was on. So, yeah, just things that make freaking sense here. Uh, so eventually, after Andre had nibbled on Joe, eventually there is to also be Din Din. So Din Din, besides, like, was young in the first season. I don't remember who's left from the first season who is still here. I have no idea. So, but Din Din was to have been from the last season, and he was here, I think. I don't know. Um, Maybe it was just Din Din, and maybe it was just that one girl that got killed on that rooftop. Maybe that was the only two people that won last season. So Din Din ends up being the most experienced guy, and even he can't go on and take out Andre here. Even though he also goes on and he explains to people that it's like, well, hey, I have more experience in zombie apocalypse than any of you, and he survived this long. By how? Like it's surprising. Like this guy would go on for most point because the ending, but Din Din would go on and to have lived for this entire season to have not have gotten infected. And I'm just like, how? Like, shouldn't they have gone on and taken out all the people from season one immediately? Because what real difference did those people really make in the show to be standout characters? None whatsoever. None whatsoever. So, regardless of their death. So, Din Din, we find out, is next to be infected. So, here's where now the two girls are left. And now we have Young who has to come up with a strategy. She starts not with this arm that she has from this mannequin. And the conductor is kind of upset that the girl has the mannequin arm. Young goes on and finds a weak wall, and it's like, okay, well now all we have to do is just stand here, and Andre's going to come charging at us, and we just have to Toro and dodge him, as if we're bull riders or bull avoiders, and Andre is going to go smashing through this wall, and boom, we're going to be free. I would have come up with the idea of like, well, hey, how about you just stack all those boxes and stack all those items, and then just jump the wall anyways, because that would have been an escape plan. So Andre breaks through the wall to reveal an opening here. Honestly, if you look at the wall that had gotten opened, honestly, uh, in my opinion, you could have obviously known that that stuck out like a sore thumb. But Young didn't notice it right away. So, because the part of the opening is lightly painted, and like because you can tell, uh, like this area is more lightly painted than any part of this section. Any part of this whole entire, like, if you pause it just right, you can see how like the area that they're supposed to get is white and the rest of the area is gray. So it's gray or like a dark gray. So that is really just so cheap. So after Andre falls and he takes a little nap because of jet lag or something, we hear him snore eventually. Good, he's getting his sleep in. Like, man, yeah, I'm sure that took a lot out of him. Because he got that Zom in him. So the girls go on and they check on the guys who are infected. And so the other half of the team go on and they're carrying the other people that are infected. Yeah, that's really trustworthy on those people. These people can turn at any time. So now we have all the people that are infected together, and the opposite side are all the people who are left who aren't infected. So both of them go on and explain the aftermath of what happened between both of their things, about how uh, Justin had the blood and he got killed, and they had gotten two things of the blood, and like they quickly recap this in the show, which I wish they would have taken a lot more time to do that. Like, what bullshit did they have to edit out of this show for? Anyways, so they go on and they mention the whole story about the conductor as a recapping, because they have to go on and recap the last episode, because if anything they have to waste more time here. So they explain about how like the conductor was trying to gather up specialty zombies, but if anything that's kind of pointless now. So Joe consistently used to go on and want the people to leave. I think he probably wants them to leave just so he can go effing home. Because I'm sure he's just like, hey, yeah, I'm infected now. So, like, hey, the show is over anyways. Like, let's get out of here. Like, I'll collect my check and. Because, yeah, like, this is the last episode. Like, yeah, as soon as they can go on and leave and these guys can just go F off and just be like, ha ha ha, like I collected my money, I'm done. Like, but no, they try to figure out a way to add these characters back in, and it was stupid. So, because we have DEFCON that confesses to them that the blood could be used as a way to cure a recently infected person. So it's like, oh, well, like we have so many of these recently infected people, so there's only so much of the blood left now. So do they care about the money, Or do they care about the people? You know what? Again, we come to this conundrum where they should have used every single one of the blood samples to cure whoever they could because they didn't care about the money, right? But no, 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 no. That's not what this show does. That's not what these people do. They're like, wait a minute, well, we have to go on and we have to have one blood sample left. And we have to have for mass production. And I'm just like, but also to collect that big fat check, right? It's being honest. So that big fat check that doesn't really exist, right? You're not gonna get 5 million yen after doing this show. You're probably gonna get like what, like a couple of thousand, maybe. Well, I hope that really, like, I hope this show does help whoever all these people are gain a good social media following, a good uh, whatever. I hope all these people go on and they maybe do acting gigs after this. I hope that they're successful in whatever they're doing after this. Um, but yeah, but like this show is kind of just disappointing. Uh, anyways, so they take forever to decide who's gonna go on and become cured. And all of a sudden, uh, these people have to go on and they have to make their case. You know what? If it were me, like I would go on and I would take the Batman Justice League defense, where the Justice League would at one point want to go on and vote out Batman for the Justice League, and Batman would just go on and be like, I'm sorry, if you guys are really going to have to go on and be very back and forthing about whether or not I should be on the Justice League, then maybe I shouldn't be here. Because, like, Batman had gone on to proven himself time and time again. And for those people to not see that, then they need to see him just leave. They need to see that him not being there is going to hugely impact the team. And no one took that route. No, everybody was to go on and try to convince these people that they are valued. So DEFCON goes on and mentions how he's a strong character, which is like, well, yeah, like that is a good trait to have, but that's gonna mean fuck all because like this is the last episode. So like, what is his strength gonna matter? Uh, because the people that are to already have gone on and won a mission had done it without them, and those are the people who are still alive, most of them. Um, so doesn't mean a whole lot. Then we go on to have Joe, who makes his case after Din Din says like, "Well, hey, I'm an experienced guy, so if anything, I should be the one that should be cured." It's like, fuck your experience, because if anything, what is that going to mean past this point? Like again, like there was never a time where like these characters were writing on Din Din to come up with an answer. Never in the show. So what did his experience meant dick. So Then we get to Joe. So Joe is going on and twisting and turning, and then he's going on and he's trying to be a very emotional character and talking about his wife, uh, and his countless times of him missing his wife. Like, so isn't his wife a zombie or something like that? Like, how about you just go on and how about you just join her as being a zombie? Or that's what I was thinking in my mind. Or if she's dead, like you'll be dead soon, anyways. So uh, yeah, like Joe's Kate. Like I don't know what it is with these people, but everybody just likes to laugh at Joe, and I just don't know why. Like at this point, I'm just like, what is the running joke that I'm not getting anymore? But anyways, so but yeah, so they go on and they decide on saving Din Din. For what reason, I don't know. If anything, they justify it by saying like, well, hey, if anybody's gonna go on and become a zombie here pretty soon, then uh, Din Din is the smallest one. I'm like, really, that's your case? That is the stupidest thing. So Din Din gets saved. He ends up getting cured. But then Din Din confesses, well, hey, I already have a blood sample, and some of us had kept blood samples, so we can cure one more person. And that is the stupidest thing. If Din Din Ari was to have had a blood sample, why didn't he just cure himself? Yeah, like these people are to see money as more of a value than they are even their own health. Just like, does anybody get the logic there? Maybe Din Din was thinking like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe they'll choose somebody else, but I'll still have this blood sample on me anyways, and I'll still run to the hospital just in the nick of time before I turn into a zombie, and maybe they'll cure me, and then I'll be fine. Uh, yeah, I'm assuming that's the thought that Din Din was happening, but I'm sorry, I would be like, like if you have a cure in your hand, but you're gonna go to the doctor anyways, yeah, like logic gap there. So they decide to go on and cure another person, and all of a sudden Joe jumps up and he starts doing all these jumping jacks and dancing and bowling balls and all this goofy crap. And I'm just like, God, you're a dancing monkey. You're a freaking mime. Like this, like you're like I know Joe is supposed to be the comic relief here, but he just kind of like, why is he doing this? Um, but again, um, they end up getting won over by him because he did that. So they let Joe go on and get the other cure, and DefCon um God, what is the other guy's name? Uh, Sungjae had to go on and have their eyes closed, and the group all walked away from them. And so they opened their eyes like, hey, they just left us behind. Oh, we're just going to turn into zombies anyways? Well, I hope we go on and we bite them and we kill them to get revenge. That they didn't go on and they didn't choose us. So the group finally goes on and leaves. They make their way to the rooftop because eventually the conductor goes on and releases all these zombies, and they go after them onto the rooftop. Now we have this whole bridge thing that these characters end up being on, and it really doesn't seem that there's any kind of like big huge uh airbag of thing that they're gonna fall onto, but there is. Um, because why would you kill all these people legitimately? Did they owe you money? Anyways, so they're on this bridge, and so they decide to call out the rocking back and forth when they're like, yeah, left, right, left, right, left, right. So immediately, like, for any zombie or any human that's on this bridge, also, they're gonna know how to copy that pattern. So that is just the stupidest thing to come up with that whole rocking back and forth thing. And then eventually the zombies just have to just fall over because they're just sick of just hanging on to this bridge, rocking back and forth. Uh, and also, like, the show has to do something here. So we would start to have characters creeping up, the bad guys creeping up. Justin creeps onto the bridge. Uh, we have eventually the massive giant zombie creep onto the bridge before anyone else does, and he falls off. They have to get really unique characters on this bridge. Uh, Defcon and Sung Jae get on the bridge, and they're like, "Yeah, like, we hate you guys." And then we have Andre then at the beginning on the bridge, and like, oh no, not Andre. He can't get on the bridge. Like, he's going to make everything really worse for us. And then all of a sudden we come to find that Chef. He gets on the bridge, and immediately he freaking falls off. He donuts off. Like, and they make fun of him. They make fun of him. They make fun of that he, like, tripped or whatever and he fell off. And I'm like, dude, don't make fun of that. Don't make fun of that guy. Come on. Like, if anything, like, if he did it by accident, like, I'm sure he's just like, dude, I didn't want to do that and shit. Like I'm getting paid regardless. So, like, yeah, like, I'll definitely go on and I'll take the death here because, like I'm not gonna do any of this. So Andre falls, and here's where the tide starts to turn. So now we have all these characters that are left, and we start to have people on the hero side need to kind of take the hit here, so that way, because they have to train, they have to change tactics here. You know that whole curling thing where a bunch of people died? That's because they didn't change tactics. They didn't adapt. So we have characters that start to rotate on the hero side. Joe is telling Dex to get back in the early parts of the group because we're gonna see who's starting to get killed here, and all this shit is planned ahead of time. That it's like, yeah, these people are gonna take the hit uh, because they want to have this like hero send off. So plus they aren't gonna be in season 3. So we have Joe that goes on, and he's the first one that gets grabbed by Justin. The two of them go off the bridge and they get killed. Uh, we then have uh, is it Justin? Let me pause here for a second. Yeah, Joe goes on and is tussling with Justin. They fall over. I think Defcon just falls over by himself, and now Sungjae and now Din Din are kind of face to face here, and Sungjae grabs Din Din and they go over. So the last thing we have here is the conductor. He's to go on and mention to the group here, hey, if you go on, you give me the blood sample, I'll let you go free. Yeah, I don't really trust this guy. He's insane anyways. So he goes on and he grabs for the blood sample. And when he grabs the blood sample, he falls over and he dies. So the guy doesn't really need the blood sample because we'll find out that he doesn't. So out of that, we cut to all the group going on and making their way safely back down to the building because evidently there was not that escape plan earlier available. So we'd have the group kind of hovering over all the bodies, looking over their favorites, and then they would find the conductor's body. They would come to find that his blood is special, his blood is different, and his blood is pink. So they would find out that the conductor had gotten bitten, but he was one of those unique cases. So it's like, okay, so he was a zombie, but like him being a zombie, yeah, like his looks more normal than any of the other people. So he's one of those kind of rare cases. So they found out that all the test tubes from Hung Chul's kind of blood samples are all destroyed. So they found that uh, that the conductor's body is to be the substitute for that. So they go on and they take this conductor's body and they're now running with it to this hospital. And we have Code and some other girl who are going on and seeing that there are zombies near this hospital. So they're tackling them out of the way. So we honestly leave this season 2 with like a cliffhanger. I'm like, why didn't you go on and do like the perfect solution ending where like this last mission ends up getting like cleared or was successful and go on to like show that the zombie infection was completely cured and was mass produced and like the world has all gone back to normal so that we could have wasted more time and basically shown, hey, yeah, we're not going to do another season because they shouldn't, because if they're going to do it at this small of a budget, then yeah, like why would they do another season? um I would like for them to. I would like for there to have been uh, a Zombieverse America or whatever the equivalent of like, hey, I'll join your show if I can learn how to speak Korean or uh, have a show that has enough people speak English that I don't have that problem uh, or something. I'm sure maybe there'd be enough time to set up for the show that I could probably learn a language during that time. I have no idea. Or maybe you can earwig me uh, what to say, because that'll probably be a thing. So we then cut to the whole cast as the credits go on. We have Code that goes up first. We then have Quan that goes up second. Uh, Taeyeon and Defcon, and then we have getting Joe and uh and this is Yeek on it. I have no idea. Sungjae, and we get Din Din. Uh, did I say Joe this whole time? I guess his name was Cho. Cho So Ho. I have no idea. I've been probably saying Joe this whole time, and I've been saying it incorrectly. Yeah, I guess I didn't know that. Wait. Uh, no, wait a minute. His actual name was because on this credit thing here it says Joe Say Ho. So why does it say Cho on here? I guess that's maybe a typo. I have no idea. Um, Either way, I said that incorrectly. So They even mention all the people who were even dead on the show because it's like, might as well like add more credits on the scene. Uh, they bring up Patricia, they bring up Kim, they bring up Tasuki, and then they show um, where Hong Chul's body was. They end up bringing Dex, they end up bringing up Young, and then they end up bringing the credit scene as these guys are making their way to this hospital. So with that said, I'm gonna get that out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Because yeah, like this season was disappointing. What else could I see more than that? This was a pointless thing to go on and to do this one-off episode. But these episodes were oddly numbered, so like I wasn't gonna go on and do 3 episodes in a row because it was really hard for me to go on and do 2 episodes in a row for this specific show. Uh, Plus, I didn't want to take 3 hours of time for a show like this. It was something different. It was if it was like Power Rangers, if it was any number of other things, I would go on and want to take that time. But yeah, like this show, yeah, like what it does, like I'm sure reviewing the episodes would probably be very simple, but like would not be as anywhere as entertaining as like a multiple episodes of Power Rangers or something like that, where like at least I can see like well like 5 episodes of like 20 minutes. One episode of this is either like 50 some odd minutes or it's like an hour, but if anything, I'm over an hour now, and this episode was like 49 minutes, so I'm well over the time limit. So I'm gonna get out of here. Goodbye, buddy. Bye, buddy.